Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. There is one question which most Kenyans are not asking about this IEBC saga. And the question is simple. What next for Raila Amolo Odinga? Because from all indications, Ruto amejipanga. And from all indications, IEBC is not prepared for this election. But what next for Raila Amolo Odinga? Because Raila Odinga is also a key player in this election. Raila Odinga has contested for the presidency of the Republic of Kenya in the past 4 times. This is going to be his 5th attempt. In his first attempt, which was in 1997, Raila Odinga was just introducing himself to Kenyans. Then in 2002, he never contested. In 2007, Raila Odinga contested for the presidency, and most Kenyans believe up to now that Raila Odinga won the elections. But he was rigged out. Then Raila Odinga tried his luck again in 2013 and 2017. Again, most of his supporters believes very strongly that Raila Odinga actually won those elections. But he was rigged electronically. But what next for this particular election? Is there a chance that Raila Odinga is also going into this election with the same old mindset of free, fair, and credible elections? Someone was telling me that they used to raise some of these issues with Raila Amolo Odinga. But Raila Odinga believed very strongly that after the 2007 election and the reforms which saw Samuel Kivuitu leave and Isaac Hassan join in, he believed then that the elections were going to be free and fair. He was surprised that the election actually turned to be worse. But what next after the latest incidents where 3 foreigners were found with suspicious election materials? And from the spat between the DCI and IEBC, if you read between the lines, it means that IEBC is actually compromised. What next for Raila Odinga? In this video, I want us to look at what next for Raila Amolo Odinga. But before we get into all those, in case you're watching this channel for the first time, I want you guys to take a second or two, click the subscribe button, so that next time we produce a video like this, YouTube will automatically notify you. And to the subscribers, I want to continue thanking you guys for your continued support. Because without that support, this channel cannot be where it is. And I'm making this request, guys. Please give this video thumbs up. Just press that thumbs up now before we proceed. And by the way, Moses Jr., you told me to shout out. I hope you are now happy, and I'm glad you are watching. And I also want to shout out to my boy from Bomet, Kibet, a guy who started this journey long time ago. Now, what next for Raila Amolo Odinga? Because we have only 14 days to the elections, which means nothing much can be done. Already, IEBC have identified the firm which will be supplying and deploying the technology, Smartmatics, whose reputation is known world over. Already, the ballot papers are being printed. Already, the returning officers have been hired. The IEBC is currently training their staffs. Which begs the question, what next for Raila Odinga? I want to be brief and precise. The first thing which, in my view, Raila Odinga should do is to ensure that he employs and deploys serious agents on the ground. You know, Raila Odinga lost the previous elections because of agents. In 2013 and 2017, and it might happen again, Raila Odinga appointed agents, but the NIS penetrated or infiltrated his camp. And the people who were busy recruiting agents were the same NIS guys. So they ensured that those who were deployed in William Ruto and Uhuru Kenyatta's stronghold at that time, which was Rift Valley and the mountain, were actually these agents. So they ended up colluding with Jubilee agents, and that's why, or that's how, Raila Odinga's figures were deflated, while Uhuru's figures were inflated. And how can Raila Odinga deploy the agents? Simple. It's known fact that for the purposes of this election, we are going to have returning officers. And these returning officers have already been appointed by Iebc. 19 out of 42, which is 40%, are from a particular tribe. So which means, because our politics is trouble, there's a chance that those recruitment were meant to serve a purpose. So Raila Odinga must ensure that in areas where these agents are, these returning officers, he must deploy serious people who can stand up and stop any attempt to add figures. Because the scheme is so simple. Just add 120 people to 10,000 polling stations in William Ruto strongholds. 120 is a negligible number. But if you add them to 10,000, if you multiply them to 10,000, it will top up to 1.2 million. So to avert that rigging scheme, Raila Odinga must deploy agents. And those agents must be specifically in areas or the polling stations where this rigging is supposed to take place. Of course, Raila Odinga has this intelligence, and that's why he was insisting that the voting will have to be manual. Which takes me to the question, are you guys aware why Wafula Chebukati is insisting on two things? That manual registers will not be used, that it will only be electronic. Do you know why he's insisting? And do you know why Wafula Chebukati is so easy with journalists relaying results? Because he's so sure that once everything has been cooked and the results are announced in the presence of the media, it will lead to credibility. So Raila Odinga must be ready to spend fortune and with the help of the state and the NIS, deploy agents in some of those 10,000 polling stations. If Raila Odinga will play with the issue of agents, I can assure him and his supporters, he's doomed. Number two, it's only 2 weeks to the elections. I know as a candidate, he has a right to meet with Iebc. He must put demands to Iebc for the audit of all the Kemskit, especially the 10,000 polling stations. Because remember, the guys who were caught with the election materials had for specific counties. And these specific counties, if you look at it, they are key. So Raila Odinga must demand for the Kemskit, which are going to these particular constituencies, he must insist on the voter register so that in case these polling stations, because if he has the register, they must tally with the registered voters in the Kemskit. For example, if only 600 people are registered in a polling station, then what is in the Kemskit should also be 600. So Raila Odinga must demand for an audit. That's one thing which he must give or put as a matter of priority. Because without audit, someone somewhere, the way Iebc is operating and the way I'm judging them, I could be wrong, someone somewhere might have the Iebc, Kemskit, and an additional kit. We witnessed this during the ODM nominations, where some people had kits counting votes in their houses while people were lining up to vote. So it's a possibility that in this election, the way someone can just walk with election material, there's a possibility that someone somewhere will have additional 10,000 kits which are manipulated. So he must have demand for an audit. The third thing Raila Odinga must do is to enhance his votes protection strategy. How is Raila Odinga going to protect his votes? I've been talking to so many people, and they're telling me that Raila Odinga doesn't even need the support of the system. He only needs a level playing field. And therefore, based on the way things are, Raila Odinga only needs an enhanced vote protection unit or strategy. How is he going to protect the votes? And how do you protect votes? Vote protection will begin when someone enters into a polling station. So when someone enters into a polling station and gets into that polling booth, how will they account for, like this time, these are the number of people who have been issued with the ballot papers? Because that's critical. In, for example, in Raila Odinga's stronghold or in William Ruto's strongholds, there's a possibility that these guys might collude. So that if you are a supporter of Ruto and you are from his stronghold, then you can be given two. If you are a Raila Odinga supporter, you are in Raila Odinga's stronghold, you can be given two ballot papers for the president. That has happened before. If you look at the Kriegler report, it stated clearly that both sides rigged by inflating. So Raila Odinga must enhance his vote strategy, protection strategy. And that strategy will begin the moment someone enters into the booth. Once they've entered, they've counted, then they should have a system that, okay, by this time, these are the number of people who have voted. When the counting will be done, they'll be able to check how many ballot papers are there, because normally they are counted. Does it tally with the number of people we ticked? If it doesn't tally, where are the rest coming from? That's the only way, sure way, of enhancing transparency in this election. So Raila Odinga must enhance his vote protection strategy. Number 4, I'm certain that Raila Odinga is not a madman by insisting on the manual register. Constitutionally, that manual register must be made available to all polling stations. Iebc are saying that they'll use the electronic register, which is okay, but the law requires that you provide that manual register so that Raila Odinga's agent will be marking against every other person who is coming. So if you come, they cross that, okay, this one has voted, this one is not there, this one is there, that one is not there, this is there. Raila Odinga must insist on the manual register, because manual register has the actual number of people who are registered in that particular polling station. If a polling station has 700 people, a manual register should be having the same or less, considering that some people might have died and the rest. So you must insist on that manual register, not for use per se, but just for them to ascertain that in this particular polling center or station, these are the number of registered voters and whether they are credible. And lastly, and this I don't think will be possible, is to pile pressure on Iebc to internally transfer some of the returning officers, especially those who are going to manage the elections in those 10 counties. That's the only way of enhancing credibility of this election. If Iebc will not agree to that, then it means they will have to employ serious agents. They'll have to use the support of the intelligence to actually tell them the motive of these people. I don't know what you think. That's my take. Thank you guys, and please, in case you're watching this channel for the first time, take a second or two, click that subscribe button. And to the subscribers, I want to thank you guys. Tomorrow, not tomorrow, because I'm doing this video at night and it's in the morning. I'm actually heading home very early in the morning to sort out some issues relating to the funeral. And I'll be back. Hopefully, there's going to be a presidential debate. Whether Ruto will be debating himself, whether Wajakoya will boycott or Raila Odinga. One thing I know for sure, even if all these guys will decide to boycott, that presidential debate will still be there. So hopefully, we'll be able to watch the presidential debates too. Thank you guys, and please, may you have a good day. Bye-bye.